Hello, everyone. I've got Mr. Theo here. We're just leaving his driveway. I thought we'd do another live today since we did one our last session. And, why not? So whoever wants to come with us on our adventure, Theo, can come with us. So just going to give a little recap about Theo. He is a doodle, obviously, and he's a nervous Nelly. He's a sensitive guy. And he sometimes, good job. When dogs are sensitive, they have big feelings. And when they have those big feelings, they can sometimes go on the outside. Sometimes they go inside. Theo does both. So we call them an inward and outward stressor. So we see both sides of him. And then a lot of those times, those dogs are labeled as reactive. Good job. Nice work. Looking both ways before we cross the street. Good work, buddy. He has had reactivity stuff to vehicles. We'll see there's a bunch of vehicles coming up on this side. Good job. And he's just slow blinking and he's not worried about them. That's great. That means they're either small enough. This one's a little bigger, a van coming by, moving a bit faster. Good job. So he notices that. He's very sensitive. He's a sensitive boy. Good boy. He's sensitive to everything. He's sight sensitivity, sound sensitivity. He is sensitive to movement, volume, energy, like all of those things can impact him. And what happens is that he does what we call trigger stacking. So he has one thing, doesn't look like anything on the outside to the humans, but he kind of holds it in, and then another thing and another thing. And sometimes he goes inside himself. There's a big truck we're going to be passing here. I'll tell you when. Just see the big truck, buddy? Good work. So good job. Nice job. So we can see it up in the distance coming. And there's two options. We can counter condition, which is what I'm going to do. Here's the truck and here's the food at the same time as the truck. And that starts to change his emotional state when he sees those things. We've paired the good stuff, in this case, freeze-dried salmon, with the truck. So we do that enough times and we start to see that the brain sort of changes how they feel about those things because we make pairing. Good boy. So back to trigger stacking. So trigger stacking, right, buddy, is when you have one thing and then another thing and another thing until we reach the threshold, the dog's threshold, and then the dog has a reaction. Here's a big cock. Nice work. And what I've noticed with Theo primarily is when it startles him. So when he's not prepared for it, comes out of nowhere, he gets that startle reflex. And once he's become activated like that, he has a really hard time coming down from the activation. But once he gets into that state where his system is hot, so to speak, and I'm trying to use some layman terminology. So he's aggravated, like it's already aggravated. It's really difficult to calm him down. He has a hard time getting back to that homeostasis. So recovery and emotional regulation is something that we've been working a lot on. There's a school bus in front of us that he's noticed now. And his level of sensitivity is so high. The journey has been, there's a big car over there, has been about teaching his humans to be aware of the level of sensitivity, and that before he tends to go on the outside, he's already holding things in on the inside. What a nice boy you are. So the things that he's been reactive to notoriously in the past, trucks, buses, trailers, any sort of a big vehicle, right, buddy? Those things have really been. There's a bus right in front of us that we're following right now. So that's really, you're doing great. Those things have been jarring for him, startling for him. And I think that sort of was aggravated just by general traffic, because when we started doing these things, his head was like on, it was just constantly, there's a car there. See, now I see he's not even really looking like that to the cars, but when we first started working together, it was like this every time he saw a car. So we're about to get into a bit of a roundabout. The bus is still in front of us. There's a car here. He didn't look at it. He's still watching that bus. There's another car here. But you just saw that little lip flick. So we're getting into a little bit more of a populated traffic area. And that does, he's leaning in with the vehicle. Good boy. Yes. He does notice all of this stuff. It's not causing him to go up as high anymore, to get as adrenalized, but he still can trigger stack. So we have to pay attention to the intensity, the amount of time that we're spending, and the proximity we are to these things. So how much we're expecting him to deal with, because although his threshold is increasing, we can still trigger stack him quite easily. So there's many cars passing by us. We're on a busier road now. And you can see he's not doing the, oh, there's a car thing, which he used to do. There's a car super close. Yes. So he notices when it's right beside us, or instead of being on the other lane of traffic. So if it's right beside us, you see that he does really notice it. So there's two main strategies that we're using here. We're using counter conditioning, and we're using, good, there's a person now. See, so this is how quickly things start to build up in his mind. And I know that he's noticing all these things. So there's two strategies we're using. We're using positive reinforcement, meaning when he does something that I like, I mark it with his timing marker is yes. I mark it and then I feed. So that says, I want that thing to happen more often. So if he's looking at something and not overreacting, you might notice that I mark that behavior. And I can cue behavior too, and then reward him for performing it. So you'll see, we do a lot of look. So look, there's the bus. Good boy, yes. Well, notice that I will mark his behavior. I will cue behavior. The bus is right beside us now, yes. And sometimes I don't have to cue the behavior. I can also pay him for voluntary behavior, which I often do. Now we're getting into a very busy road. So we're on Innis Road, which is a pretty busy road in the city. We're not in the most populated part of it yet, but we are moving towards that. Oh boy. So then the other one is counter conditioning. So sometimes there's people, he just noticed. Sometimes what I will do is just, as the environment becomes intense, I will continue to feed through that environment until it becomes less intense. Then my feeding slows. Generally, what'd you do? You're coming up? He's never done that before. Generally, counter conditioning is paired with systematic desensitization, which just means we do it systematically in proximity so that we're not seeing an overreaction, which is basically what I'm attempting to do. However, when we are in an uncontrolled environment, like we are in the world, and things can happen. So I'm at a stoplight now, which means that that there's lots of traffic across us in front. He's watching. There's people coming. Good job, buddy. Yes. Here, hon. Up. Good. So that was hard for him to take his attention away from. There was a person coming over a snowbank. So that's, I guess, was alarming to him. And you can see that he was kind of like locked in and focused. And I don't want him to stare too long at those things, because then he will have a reaction. The fact that I'm even now at a point where I can do these lives and talk in this tone, good job, is pretty wild, because I had found that even just having any sort of animation in my voice and my tone when we first started working together was too much for him, because he plays a lot off of me. So I would have to talk to him really calmly and only on the exhale, just to keep the energy inside the vehicle really, really calm. But he can handle now me talking in a normal voice. But I am aware that if the environment gets too chaotic, I may need to tone it down a notch. My lips are dry, Theo. So the plan today, he often doesn't want to get out of the car. Good boy. There is a very big bus beside us you can't see. Good job, Theo. Yes. The plan, yes. There's another one that went by. There's people. It's very busy. The plan for today is just to work in an environment that has a lot more moving pieces to it. And just to, again, we're just slowly increasing the intensity of the environment around us and working on his coping skills. It is a really cold and snowy day. Good job. He's watching a human. He's walking on the street there. Very nice, buddy. Yes. So we're going to do that. And then what I'd like to do is to go to a little bit more of a quieter environment and see if I can get him to come out of the vehicle independently. He's just heads on a swivel now because he's watching all the people. We're in a very, I don't know if you can see, you can see my stand here, my camera's dirty, so you can't really see much. But we are in a very, very busy area right now. So we've got lots of moving cars, trucks, bigger vehicles, people, lots of stuff happening. And he's doing really well by just watching. Wow, Theo, that's so good. And the big thing is, I understand that all of these things are a big deal to him. And we can get stuck on and get lost in, it shouldn't be a big deal for him and he should be fine, and have an expectation for him that's unreasonable and unobtainable, and then be frustrated because he's not like other dogs or whatever. Or we can work within his capability. Good work. Celebrate what a success is. So now all these cars in front of me are turning and they're all coming here. And then there's also cars turning here. So he's seeing, like right now, all these cars are moving on either side of us. And good job, buddy. Yes. So we can either get stuck in that, or we can start to look at him for where he is, who he is, what his capability is, and then celebrate those successes that are within his capability. And I think that's so important. We have to meet the dog where they are, understand and accept where they are, and then help them to evolve beyond their current position. And really, it's about helping. And I say this to clients all the time. We're helping the dog to become the best version of themselves. What that looks like long term, I don't always know. But we're working within his limitations, within his capability. The benchmarks are set for him. So good little Chuck there. Every time I work with a dog, what success is different for the dog. Good job, buddy. Yes. So that's an important point. Good work, bud. Now, he's pretty slimy and drooly. So even though he looks like he's just a perfect angel, and of course he is, he's stressed. So just this drive, and the busyness of the environment around him, good boy, is stressful. It's stressing him out. So what we're going to do right now, because I'm noting that, I see the sliminess. I don't see any panting or anything like that yet. But before we even get there, wow. Ooh, what a great opportunity. Okay, I'm going to stop and I'm going to show you this great opportunity that we have. So now we're kind of behind the building. Theo, let's switch this around. Okay, so there's trucks that are, nobody's in them, Theo. They're not moving, they're not turned on. But he's generally nervous of trucks, as I mentioned. He's watching one right now. We are going to go look at that, maybe, if he wants to, which is, again, his decision if he wants to do it or not. So let's see. There's a moving truck behind us, though. He may not get out because there's still too much going on, but we'll see. There's the front of the street. Okay. So I just thought this is great. So we are kind of behind, you know how behind those buildings, not buildings, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, guys. Okay. I also have a couple of different options for treats, so I'm going to let him choose which one he wants to work with today. Hi, sweetheart. So, okay, this is lamb lung, and then this is salmon. Which one do you like? I just have to put these guys down for a second. Okay, we have to choose some treats for you. It's your choice, Theo, which one you want. Oh, that's really nice. Okay, let's have a sniff of this one. Sniff that. Okay, that's lamb lung. And then here's the salmon, which I think... Oh, you didn't see one. Okay, so choose. Okay. Okay, it's definitely lamb lung. So that's what we will do. We're not into salmon as much as lamb lung, and we want to work with something that he's into today, right? I'll take those with me. All right. What a nice boy. I got the lamb lung. Okay, Theo. Let's see what we can make Mr. Theo do today. What a good boy. So as usual, his line is actually connected to my car, so we can't really go anywhere. There are still moving trucks that are coming by here. Yes, that was really clever. So I'm just gonna see. So this is his line. Hey, buddy. I don't want to stress him out here. He thinks that he doesn't. Our agreement is that I don't force him. So if I force him to do anything that he doesn't want to do, I might end up breaking my trust with him, which I don't want to do because it's taken a long time to establish that. So I am going to. How did this say? Hey, buddy. So this right now is like where it's attached. His line is attached. Not like I'm concerned he's going to go anywhere, but hey, bud. Now, just to clarify, with his family, they see a different side of him than I see. Big time. So with me, he's a bit meek and quiet and all this stuff. With his family, he's not exactly like that. Come on, Theo. Should we do some partying? Come on. Can you do it? Oh, boy. No, I can't make him do it. I'm not going to make him do it. I mean, I can, of course, I can make him do it. But that's not... So he doesn't want to even eat those right now because he feels like I'm forcing. The sensitive creature. Yeah. Good work, buddy. So as much as I have a plan in my mind, I would really like him to come out and sniff these trucks that are not moving. He's saying, no, we're not doing that today, Jeff. All right. Okay, my friend, I will not make you do it. I will not force you to do it. You're sitting right now, Theo. It's super cute. That was my idea, and Theo says it's idea, but Theo does not agree. We'll go back to adventuring in the car and changing the intensity of what's happening around us by rolling the windows down, or that's a loud beep, eh, bud? I'm sorry about that. Hey, I'm sorry about that. chose the beef liver, beef lung. So working with beef lung, not beef, sorry, lamb. Lamb was his selection for the day. So we got the lamb lung. Sniff it. My idea to get him to sniff the non-moving vehicles, he said no. Okay, fine. We're just going to do a little tour behind the building here. Maybe get real close. Get real close to some vehicles. Okay. Theo. Whoa. Let's show the people what's happening here. Oh, yeah. What's happening here? We're going to get into a little time here. Coming forward. Yes, Theo. Right there. Truck is right there. We're going to come up to another FedEx truck here. Good work, buddy. Good work. Yes, we are right beside the FedEx truck. It's right there. Yes, Theo. And it made a little rumbling sound too. Good work. Oh, wow. I'm super proud of you. Good work, Theo. That's all right. There's one behind us trying to get by. You can go now. We'll just put our hazards on. Yes, Theo. There it goes. Yes. Nice. Nice work, bud. Very brave boy. All right. We're going to go chase down some more. Ooh, okay. Big bump, Theo. Sorry about that, bud. Good job. So we're just chasing dreams here. We're chasing dreams, right, Theo? All right. Good boy. Here we go. We're around the building. I feel like if I turn this I don't know what will happen. No, I can't turn it. No, he does not like that. Good boy. Yes. So we're coming up here to some more trucks. I mean, these are all trucks that are servicing these box stores and stuff. I'm just going to park beside it for a second. Don't think there's anybody in the truck. Theo, can you look? Yes. You look?